here.
Hello everyone, we are in Kinderdijk, Kindedijk, Netherlands.
Water level, so they can live here. Before it was swamp here.
We have a very interesting excursion with the local tour guide.
At Kindedijk, I grew up how to operate a windmill. The people who booked the barge trip, they're coming here, they're sailing past.
Actually, this is how actually the name of Kinderdijk came out. During the flood, this baby was found, and then they called Kinderdijk.
Is that the
So
cat?
she's safe.
No.
How to operate a windmill. The people who booked the barge trip, they're coming here, they're sailing past.
Tickets to enter needed.
Facing the east side, and the middle is not by the front and the back door, but the east door.
The first floor for parents and smallest child, and second floor for children. Sometimes they're 10, 11, even 13. It's a living room.
Are you gonna go up?
Oops. That's how steep it is. Windmill. These are the beds. Only one of the bed. Very small.
Oh, so all the kids slept in that one bed?
And the kids,
I love these little windows.
kids bathroom, hangings, that's clothes.
Those kids were all surprised. This is what we call curiosity. I'm doing my warm surety. Where are you? I'm going down.
Going
Okay, I'll meet you
all the way
downstairs.
up. Again going up. I guess this is all things, whatever they have.
This is what she said. I like the other way going down than this way. This one looks different.
too. There's nothing more. Oh, maybe this is one. No. I guess these are all. Okay.
Careful. That way.
Wow. This is Kindedijk.
What I did, I held on to the steps. I will hold the steps.
Yeah.
There's another
Wanna
bed
go down?
down here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
There's another bed, but I don't think two adults and a child can sleep in there.
They made it work. Okay.
Another way down. It's a place. Children's room. So now we're going down more. This is a big room. Oh, that wood. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Now, yes, this is another room. And this is their bed. The parents. I don't know if I can fit in it. That's not even queen size.
It's fascinating. I guess this is where she
And
first
here they also cook.
living room.
Alright, well, guess that's all. That's probably the exit, I guess. Okay, out. It's probably some kind of all right.
Well, you don't have to go upstairs, but you can have a look in the living room, the kitchen, and the garden.
Kindedijk windmills. here. They've been for centuries already. They pump water from the lower part over the dike to the river. So it's a reclaimed land, basically 6 feet below the water level, sea water level or river water level, so they can live here before it was swamp here. Okay. 19 windmills here. 16 of them occupied. Families live there. 3 are for public to visit and see. So we just visited one of them. Okay.
Another explanation is that the Miller families were self-supporting, so they had their own chicken for meat and eggs. They might have had a pig or a cow for meat. They were catching fish in the canal. But of course, during that period, they didn't have a fridge or a freezer, so they had to prepare their food in different ways to preserve it. So they were using a lot of salt for that, so we think they were consuming too much salt, so they probably had high blood pressure. And when you have high blood pressure, when you lay down, you might get dizzy, so it was more comfortable for them to be sitting asleep. Change the position of the wings because the wind has changed. Then he will roll off this chain because it's rolled up here behind the wheel. He will roll this one up or off, and then he will put this chain onto the next anchor block. He will loosen up this chain and then he will either stand in front of the wheel or he will climb up those few steps here and stand on the platform. If he's standing on the platform, he can also use his right leg to turn this wheel. If he's standing here, then he just turns this wheel by his arms and he will turn it in the direction he wants to move to. So if he's turning this wheel, this whole framework and the wings will change with it, and the top part, the thatched roof part, everything above the yellow band. So when this chain is tied on the next anchor block, he has to make a decision if the windmill is in the right position or not. If it's not in the right position, he has to do the whole movement again. If it's in the right position, then he will tie up this chain as well. So then it's blocked again, so it can't start moving by itself. Nowadays we also have an earthing cable here, because those constructions are quite tall in our flat landscape. So if there is a thunderstorm and they just get struck by lightning, then at least the electricity will go into the ground and hopefully won't start any fires. They're coming here, they're sailing past us with their boat. They're going to walk on, and there's a bridge we are going to cross to the next windmill. The ship has got a remote control, and then you open up the bridge in the middle part and they can just sail through it. They're going to visit another windmill than we are.
Kindedijk windmills. They're here. They've been for centuries already. They pump water from the lower part over the dike to the river. So it's a reclaimed land, basically 6 feet below the water level, sea water level or river water level, so they can live here before it was swamp here. Okay. 19 windmills here. 16 of them occupied. Families live there. 3 are for public to visit and see. So we just visited one of them. Okay. Still a lot of marshes around. Marshes, but it's not flooded anymore as it used to because of these windmills. Famous Kindedijk windmills.
Country, we are only 200 miles long and 125 miles wide. That's all. Just a dot on the map. But the total length of our dikes is 12,000 miles.
Oh, wow.
So we really covered in dikes, and that's necessary because all those purple spots on the map are below sea level. Right now you're 6 feet below sea level, but that's by far not the lowest point in the Netherlands. The lowest point is about 19 feet below sea level. So if we wouldn't have those dikes to protect us, then we couldn't live in a third of our country. That would be flooded. So we're here right now at Kindedijk. So you're sailing to Enkhuizen tonight?
Amsterdam?
Towards Amsterdam. No, he said tonight.
But I think Amsterdam is the night after that.
Yeah. Yes.
So I think you're sailing towards here somewhere. So you go and you're following the river here, and then you go through the Amsterdam Rhine Canal and maybe along here. This is a huge freshwater lake nowadays. This used to be part of the sea as well, but we closed that already in the 1930s. We built a dike across, and we closed it off completely, and because it's fed by water from the river the Rhine, it's now a freshwater lake. This is a drawing of a windmill. This is one piece, it's one sail beam. So they're connected in the middle, and then you create 4 wings. This is about 90 feet long, one sail beam. In the middle they're connected by an axle. And around this axle there's a big wooden wheel, similar to the wheel which you could see when you enter the windmill. It's a big wheel like this, and it's got tooth. We call that cocks in a windmill. This is staying inside the wheel, and this is sticking out. And those tooth are sticking in between the staves of the sprocket. So they push each other. And because they push each other, this sprocket starts turning as well when the windmill is spinning. This sprocket is situated at the top of the kingspin. I hope you saw the kingspin in the windmill we've just visited, because it's still the original one. It's nearly 300 years old and it's still going strongly. This whole kingspin is made out of an oak tree. And at the bottom of this kingspin there are similar wheels. There's another sprocket, and those staves are pushing in between the tooth of the water wheel. That's the big wooden wheel which you could see when you enter the windmill. That water wheel is connected with another axle to the scoop wheel, and that's the scoop wheel which we could see from the outside, which is the actual pump of the windmill. So if the windmill is spinning, all the colored parts in this drawing are turning. And that makes, at the end, the scoop wheel is turning as well, and it's pumping up the water from a low level, and it's pumping it up about 6 feet high, and then letting it out at the back of the windmill. A windmill is only working well when the wings are facing into the wind. So I've explained to you at the windmill how they could change the position of the wings by turning this wheel at the bottom of the framework. But actually this whole top part, the whole T3 part, is laying on cast iron wheels like those. Those wheels are fitted in a frame. Each frame fits 8 of those wheels, and there are 6 frames all around the windmill. So actually this whole top part, this whole T3 part, is laying on those cast iron wheels, and that's why it's relatively easy to change the position of the windmill. Those cast iron rails are placed behind the yellow band we've seen just below the T3 part here. Here everywhere in the region, because willow trees do love water and they grow very easily. Just take a stick, put it in the ground, and it will root, and you've got a new willow tree. We keep them in a funny shape because we cut the top at about 3 to 6 feet. We cut it off, and the branches that are growing on it every year, we cut them every 3 years, we cut them off again. So the trunk stays low, but it becomes wider, and then we can use it as well for our wooden shoes. Willow wood is quite soft to carve, so it's easy to make a hole in it, but it also got another advantage: it stays rough for a long time. So when you wear your clogs, they don't become slippery at the bottom. So they would carve a hole in it where your foot would fit into. Actually quite handy shoes, because you don't have to tie any shoelaces, just step in and you walk off. That's it. So quite handy for like a miller that's working inside and outside all the time, or a farmer that has to go inside and outside all the time. So they would step in, walk off, but they're also hard, so they were kind of safety boots as well, of course. So they would carve in a hole in it and then smoothen them up. This is a finished example. I think it's a rather boring one. Well, bit of an old one we've got here, but this is another example. This one has got a pattern on top and it's varnished. Actually, every clockmaker would have their own pattern or model that they were painting, or every village would have their own pattern. But actually this clock is more expensive than this one, because they have to use better wood for this one, because any irregularities in this type of wood they can hide with the paint and the pattern, and here they can't hide anything, so they have to use better wood for that one. But also wearing those clocks, use this one. After a couple of months wearing those clocks, you've got a problem. You've got a hole. Not waterproof anymore, so you have to buy yourself a new pair. But being Dutch again, we won't throw this one either. You just fill it up with soil, put a nice flower in it, put a hook on top, and we hang it on the wall, and we have a nice cheap flower pot.
800 people living in a village of Kindedijk.
They sit and sleep.
Only 800 people.
The windmill.
Yeah.
Jesus, cute. She's this woman.
10 euros.
Okay, so this is, I guess, the legend how Kindedijk got its name. And that's it. Behind it, this is the castle itself.
People who live here driving to Rotterdam every day for work. It's approximately 20 minutes to drive from this village to Rotterdam. Going back to the ship.
They're coming here, they're sailing past us with their boat. They're going to walk on, and there's a bridge we are going across to the next windmill. The ship has got a remote control, and then you open up the bridge in the middle part and they can just sail through it. They're going to visit another windmill than we are.
This is the name of the ship, Viking Classic. This is a guy. Just a kind of story about him on Norse mythology. This is
Here is a lock.
People live here.
Yeah.
Small houses. Thank you for all likes, comments and subscription.